Mr. Jim, are you ready to bounce? And that's a cute little band from Jersey called the Bouncing Souls. I don't know why I'd leave Jersey too if I go there. Hey Lev, how you doing tonight, man? I'm kind of flying solo right now. Too many people talking about other people. I don't get it. But I guess when you get the limelight like that, you're gonna get picked apart. Especially if you lie about shit. So mind your P's and your Q's, as Emma used to say back in the day. I had something I wanted to do, but I'm not feeling real swell, and I'm by myself, so I don't have anybody to bounce off of. Let's see. What was I going to cover? There was something I wanted to at least do. Oh, yeah. I got it saved. That's not what it was. I downloaded some stuff. Have you seen an ice wall yet? Yeah, there actually have been plenty of people seen the ice wall. They just want you to put it out of your mind. I got a lot of theories too in the process, but I can't like go out and verify everything myself. But I can take what I do know and put two and two together. And I'm not in it for the money. I'm just in it for the damn knowledge. So I spent the day over with refracted curvature and the AI. See who else was in there. Into the Break was there, and Reg Joe, and God damn, who else was in that room? But we watched NASA video about basically how everything's pretty much built upon a flat plane, and broke into all the descriptions of gravity and kind of threw those out as you go because they turn into crap in a minute. And it's basically air pressure in different regions of the world. The lower you get, the heavier the pressure gets, kind of thing. But somebody's coming to say hi to me. It's Lev. Hey, Lev, how
Hey,
you
how
doing?
you doing?
I'm tired, dude.
You
I
tired?
told Ryan I was, yeah. Well, I've been out of work the last 2 days. I got a like a bad head cold and stomach flu. So
No.
it's been hard to work. I worked 3 hours in the past 2 days. I usually work 9 hours a day. So, but my grandson got sick last week, and for somehow or another, I got it. A lot of people are getting it right now. So it makes it hard to work and do anything else. And everybody's got all this stuff going on with the final experiment, and it's drove Ryan to go recluse for a while. So he's still out and about, but he's like, there's too much talk, dude. So he wants to stay out of the line of all of it. I don't blame him. Like we did it or something. And next year, hopefully, I'll be able to go down there myself and take a look see at it. That's gonna be fun.
Myself, I don't know. I kind of feel like we were targeted a little bit
No
throughout
shit, really.
this. Like,
Uh-huh.
I mean, no, like like the Shill network of Flat Earth.
Yeah,
It was them doing the attack on us. You know what I mean?
yeah. I got
So
some
it's
names
like
in my head, but
they discredit the rest of the truth movement, so it elevates them. You know?
yeah, they like. Well, I can. They can kind of blend into the people who don't even know anything or did any research in anything in their lifetime or ever looked at anything, and they want to keep people numb and stupid, dude. They don't give you a full education. Let's put it that way. You don't get educated in everything in the world, and nobody can actually. But I believe we all have a certain spot. We're all put here to do a certain thing. It,
Yeah.
as you want to call it, divine, right? Like
Yeah,
you probably
We've
have
got
a better.
we're fitting that spiritual web. We're all connected in that kind of sense. So it's like we've all got us our part to do in that kind of way. So we accept our differences and we can find the qualities in each other that way.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean? And then like, I mean, we're not really designed to live in this kind of environment anyway, in terms of how the government have made the world, you know, like
true,
removing this from
absolutely.
nature. That is not the way, you know what I mean? And stuff like if we were still in the way of nature, then we'd be who we are properly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Man, you should have watched. We were over Discord. I was over Discord for like 2 hours, man, just sitting there watching videos with you know who AI is, right? You ever
AI.
met him?
Um,
Yeah.
not
He runs a Discord server 24/7, is what it's called. Yeah, we started the
oh,
arena. Yeah,
they
AI
were live,
Overlord.
weren't they?
Well, I was over at Ballbusters earlier with the crew over there. We were reviewing a debate between Brian Logic and Austin Witsit. They did with
Yeah,
Hammer.
I saw some of it.
With yeah. So after that, the after show, we were just hanging out. I wasn't in there that long. I left about 30 minutes in. Came back later just to see who was in there hanging out, and I hung out, and they're doing a whole criteria on how eyesight works, how far your vision works, how it actually uh, how they hijacked vision and made a ball out of it. Basically, what we were going through.
Mm.
Literally, everything to do with your eyesight, the limitations thereof, is what the sphere Earth calls for. No matter how far you focus out, they automatically fit it to the way your eye works. So, like, once the light starts to distort, that's the curve, basically. Like, that's where it starts. So it's like you're blinded. You get it? Like you can't see any further than that. You actually can see further than that with optics, but that's where the limitation is supposed to start. But if it does anything else after that, it's all refracted. It really, literally is. But it's not physical. It's optical. It's like the globe is an optical ball that just lives in the sky. Like it's really weird. But yeah, we broke it down, and pretty much within 15, 20 minutes, if you haven't never heard this stuff, you're like, holy crap, they've been lying to me this whole time. And 20 minutes in later or so, refractive curvature, broke down NASA's main orbital video they make step by step and explains exactly in detail how they don't care about a third of the way in. They tell you where you're supposed to spin around it, but then they start describing it in real time over the Earth, and it's like they just tell you you're on a plane basically, and all the physics that go along with it just breaks it all down. It's pretty beautiful little summary, and AI wants to put that together and take it into servers and just present like that. No debating, no arguing, just present the facts of it, and that's it. We need less fighting, right? You get what I'm saying? Like, so he wants to break it down simple for at a student level how flat Earth is very a valid thing. It's was pretty neat.
Who's that?
Any
Sorry, that wants to do that.
AI, he's going
Oh,
through.
yeah, yeah.
He's doing like 20-minute sessions, like a camp kind of thing. Anybody in
All
in
right.
this come in and watch it. They can you can critique it any way you want to, but it breaks down pretty simple. Flat Earth is really simple, but it can be really beautiful too at the same time. Just accept everything you see as it is. You know, try to explain the heavens right quick. Hurry up, we got to get there.
I've got a bit of an explanation myself, like in my next episodes. Like I've been doing it throughout the series anyway. It's like I show like part of the micro, then I show part of the macro, don't I? And,
Yeah,
so I've got like more of that on way and stuff like. They're ready to film, but it's gonna like I'm a bit distracted with Shill Network stuff. I could do some episodes. I need to
Shill
expose it.
Network.
Yeah, I need to because it's like I'm sick of research being stolen.
No, my phone just came on
Echo.
playing us at the same time. And I
All
didn't
right,
touch it. It literally it turned on our show, and I heard you say the exact same thing. That was funny.
yeah.
There's a ghost in here, dude. Now, this
um,
Lord was trying to push that on me one night. He's like, "Gotta come see this guy. He's a mentalist, kind of, actually a visualist. He actually would get on Ogie and TikTok, and he would get a captive audience, and he would mirror stuff that was going on in the back, and he would put a feed like a video feed in the back, and he put it on the screen. It looked like another person in the room, but there's nobody there. And he turn around and he walk right through them or something, scare the crap out of the kid in the audience. Like, it's pretty funny. But the guy went a little too far though, because he would he'd hire a girl and he would tie her up and put her in a warehouse, and he put a camera on her, and he would make it seem like this guy's the bad guy and he's getting ready to kill her. Like when he did a video call with these kids, and they literally thought it was actually happening. It would freak out. That's a little too far, though. Don't you think? Yeah, I think so. I mean, if I found him doing that to one of my young kids,
yeah.
I would go
Well,
beat the crap out of him. Not the guy who does the
yeah. You don't
videos.
know if you're gonna actually do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could be real, dude. Like if I saw that on there,
So, so yeah, so not good easy.
yeah. So how's your evening been so far?
Exciting, I suppose.
You must go attack the Shill network.
Yeah, like I was telling you last time about like well, they were taking me work, weren't they? The tinfoil sombrero, so David Weiss and etc. So then there's been what's it called? Mark Sargent Strange World today. I've seen a bit of a continuation of it. It looks like Witset's got some more Taurus field stuff to produce in the future,
Wow.
which
Ugh.
sounds a bit like my work.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, hang on, let me
So
jump out and jump back. Me audio's
okay,
gone.
I can hear you. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
yeah. Your phone's
You,
messing about. Right,
is
hold
it
on.
gonna die? Ooh. Jim Anus has got a new moon video. Sounds cool. Let's take a look at it, Jim. Off to Jim's. What's your name again? Jim Anus. Beautiful name. He's back. Hey, Lev. How's it going? Long time no see.
That's better.
Oh, Jim said he's got a new moon video out. Let's see. So what were you talking about, Sergeant? Mr. Mark?
Yeah, like another continuation of like stealing the work. It sounds like they're like alluding to it. There's a few things like the perspective of a son and all that kind of stuff. Like,
Do you ever go over to like ether cosmology? Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, like that ether cosmology type of stuff. So, like, you know, I don't know. There's also the what's it called? You know, the I did the final experiment videos, and I'm showing you like two poles. So I would expect him just to be a southern 24-hour sun and stuff like that. But what were it now? I kind of lost faith in it actually because of all the fakery. And I kind of thought like, oh, maybe, you know what I mean? I was quite happy to drop it. It don't really matter to me whether it is or not. It's like, you know, whatever it is, you know, in that kind of sense and stuff. Right. So if it does turn out to be 24-hour sun, then that's it. It's like, you know, I can continue with that narrative in the Origins of Life series.
There you go. Man,
so now on Mark's Origins and stuff.
Yeah, sorry. just on that note, right quick. The 24-hour sun. Okay. I've seen some tomfoolery with the videos and stuff. That why can't somebody just go straight up and just film it? Period. What do you got to do all this other crap? That's all I'm saying.
What did you say?
I'm saying like why with all the 24-hour footage, with this 24-hour sun footage that I've seen over the years, why can't somebody just go down and just film the thing and bring it back, or even
that's why I thought it was SIOP. I thought that's what purpose it's SIOP for. It's like, right, we've got like a 24-hour sun itself, right, but the flat Earth community hadn't figured it out that were part of a flat Earth, right? So we were dismissing it and saying that being a 24-hour sun and stuff like that. Well, I went because I've been on about the 24-hour sun for quite a while and stuff like that. And which brings me back to Witsit, because apparently on Mark Sargent's show today, he says that he's been considering the 24-hour sun itself for a couple of years now, right? Right. Yeah. But he said throughout this entire thing that there's not going to be a 24-hour sun down there. And he also said it'd be a massive problem for flat earthers, because if they proved a 24-hour sun, then that'd debunk their model. Right. So how come the Taurus field expert never even considered, even though now that he's saying the opposite now, he's seen my work and he wants to copy it, which is why I'm suspicious about Joe Hamby as well, because like for him to produce a model which is so similar to mine, similar.
Well, it's different, here's what I would
because
do,
it's using a reflection, mine ain't a reflection.
No, here's what I would do.
But that's what they've put on to. It's a perspective thing because it's you. Sorry, go on.
I'm going to say, like, I mean, if you really want to dig into their work, man, go talk to them, man. See, but I don't think you could talk to them. I tried talking to Witsit, man. It was, as it is right now, he's on the back foot, dude. Man's backtracking like there's no tomorrow. He should just come clean to start with, you know. That's what Ryan was saying. Everybody, if he actually did a lot of little shady tricks to make it seem like that he was up to no good, like the breath and all. Everybody's hounding his ass, from what I gather. So just tell the truth, dude, and don't point the finger at us when we ask you questions about it. You know,
I didn't know about him when I first met him. Well, when I first heard of him, that's when he was getting that computer for him and stuff like that. And I thought he was quite new to it or something. Well, not new, but you know, he must have had some knowledge to be, you know, invested with Goldbusters or something. But because I didn't recognize him, I didn't realize and stuff like that. I mean, you know, people have said that he's had his own live stream on doing street things and stuff like that kind of thing. Like, so you know, I didn't know about that, but when we were getting the computer and stuff, yeah, that's when I, you know, knew of him then, you know what I mean? But that's all I knew of him, you know what I mean? So then, like, the next thing I knew is that they were doing my Taurus field stuff. And I thought, you know, this is a bit
Gotcha.
weird. You know what I mean? Because it was quite blatant that they did it off banners. Some banners, I didn't explain all the origins of life stuff. You know what I mean? And I was just talking about the Taurus field and the realm. That's all they produced.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, before that
I watched
episode
that.
of
I
Glowbusters.
watched you on there while you were on there. I was in Banner's audience at the night you did that.
Oh right, like
Yeah,
3 years ago.
yeah,
3 years ago it is, yeah.
about a
Um,
year. Yeah.
so
That was way before I heard anybody else doing it. I saw you like boom, there it is. And
yeah. And that were
what?
late as well because when I first were doing it, we're in 2020 on Flat Earth Dudes. So we were like for the rest of that year, and then next year, it were all off air because of the problems with the trolls apparently. And I wasn't bothered about that. I'd rather be live and all these kind of things and stuff like. So it's like all my research which was done on private hangouts. Because he also said that it would only be on, or we'll go back on in 2 weeks. So he did basically did the COVID thing where, you know what I mean, oh, it's going to be over in 2 weeks, you know what I mean, and stuff like, and that carried on like for a year.
Yeah,
And at that point, I thought, I, you know, I don't know whether to trust him on, you know what I mean, because they sided with trolls all the time. And it's kind of like, it was disgusting because, like, after Jibby died, trolls harassed him after he's died for like over 3 weeks, like 3.5 weeks. And it's like, you know what I mean, they're putting all these horrible images they've made on screen and all these kind of things, and it was just trolls added to themselves, you know what I mean, and stuff like it. So at that point, I kind of thought, you know, I had enough completely then, you know what I mean, and stuff like
I do.
it. So,
So
so yeah,
you're
I didn't know where to go. I went on banners and all these kind of things and stuff like, but that was just once a week. Before then, I was a 24/7 flat earther. You know what I mean? In terms of streaming and all these kind of things, flat Earth dudes that was 24/7. So it's like I used to fall asleep and wake up and go straight back on. You know what I mean? So we're on there most of the time and stuff like.
nice.
I did an art course whilst we were on there. I got a distinction. So drawing whilst on stream and stuff like that. So no, you can't accuse it of wasting time or whatever and stuff like that kind of thing. Like, you know, like
Oh,
a
no,
lot of people would in my personal life and stuff like that. But you know, it's not a waste of time anyway because it's like, you know, taking part in movement is one of the most important things in the world.
it is.
So um,
Well, back when I was young and into it, I read a lot of stuff about Admiral Byrd, right? Remember Admiral Byrd? And there was one thing that stood out in my mind watching those old Navy documentaries about him. That when he went back down after 6 months of leaving his camp, they had to leave because they had a giant blizzard come in. So he left camp, right? And he came back 6 months later. He left his dinner on the table. And guess what? It was still good
yeah,
when he got back, dude. Like,
didn't he have any alternative food? Couldn't he have had something else?
no, they said it was just fine, dude. It was it was like the temperature. It was just like the perfect refrigeration. It kept the food perfect. For like 6 months, dude. That's a long time.
Still a risk though.
It is. So you're buried under like 30 foot of snow and ice, and it's going to keep your food good. But that was one. So what I think basically, if they're at the base of the structure we're living in, if they're close to it, it's like insulated to the point where it keeps everything in kill, like at balance. Cold, hot, all four of the major temperature elements are perfect in
Mm.
that spot. It's like,
So they're like the extremities of the world in that kind of sense.
yeah,
The expression of the chakra, the Taurus field. It's got its yin and yang polarities and stuff like that. And it brings balance
has
in the middle.
it has to be really powerful, dude. This is a big place, you know. Like,
How powerful is the heart?
I don't know, man.
Like the heart
You
chakra specifically, I suppose. You know
yeah,
when you've got like you've got your heart and you can go running, you can feel it beating or whatever and stuff like that. But right, if you just sat there and you kind of like thoughtful intention, you know what I mean? Like you're planning to do
yeah,
something, or say if you imagine that you're having a fight, you can get quite heart filled. You know what I mean? It
Oh yeah.
can start racing and stuff like that kind of thing if you get carried away with the thought of it or whatever. So,
Oh, I've been in a lot of fights when I was younger, and I mean, there's just something about it, dude. You just kind of know what to do sometimes. You can be outpowered, outmanned, but there's something about that reflex, the fight or flight reflex. You know what to do.
mhm.
Your body will tell you what to do. It does it on its own. It's kind of
Yeah, it's they teach it in Wing Chun, an
yeah,
aspect of like, you know, when you fall over, you put your arms out, don't you? You can't help putting your arms out.
yeah.
So learning to do it, you know what I mean, in that kind of sense. It's like, so okay, so say we fall over and we put his arms out sideways, both directions. That's not very helpful. You know what I mean? It's not gonna, you know.
I do.
But if you put both hands forwards and you know that works, don't you? You know what I mean? So through experience, you've learned that that works. So you know what I mean? You're going to protect yourself better that way and stuff like that. So that's that automatic response. So that's what you're supposed to do with Wing Chun and all these kind of things and stuff like. The thing is, it's supposed to be like through experience of Wing Chun, you will find that these techniques are the most appropriate. So when it does become a fight or flight situation, they'll come out automatically.
Yeah.
Which, yeah,
I would back on the topic of like I was talking about bird and like there's like got to be like an insulation that keeps our temperate world a certain way. So like I think our container is actually more. It pretty much seems crystalline and dome like, and it protects us from the the harsher part of the elements that keep us alive, like the sun, the moon. Uh, we're not gonna get the full bunt of the force. You know what I'm saying? Like the sunlight, if you got in it too long, you got burned really bad before, right?
yeah, yeah.
It'll kill you, dude. You almost get poisoned from the sun. You can get sun poisoning. I've had it. Got
Yeah, well,
got
you got
sunburned
people
so
which
bad.
go across desert and stuff, don't they? You know what I mean? Even like you're living in Arizona and stuff like that, you can go on a push bike ride, and you know what I mean? It could be suddenly be too much or whatever.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
depending. I think in most
I,
cases
I,
people are alright, but
I, I lived in Arizona for 21 years, dude. I lived there. I lived in Flagstaff for 17 years. I lived in Tempe for 2 years, and let's see, what other part? There was one other place. I went to lived in Tucson for a year. So
cool.
I've lived in those. Yeah, I lived in Flagstaff. You know where that is, right?
Yeah, I've been
It's
there.
it's it, it's a beautiful mountain town. They call it
Uh,
poverty with a view. They do, dude.
uh,
They
my
made a
mum's.
PBS special. They called it Poverty with a View. The top of that mountain, dude. There's so many poor people running out of. But the money that goes in there, the politicians just they hoard it, dude. They don't share with the public at all. As a matter of fact, they kind of got a self hatred for the public. It's really weird, but people still vote for them. I don't get it. But there's two tribes there: the Navajo tribe and the Hopi tribe. They used to own the mountain there. There's a Humphreys Mountain, the San Francisco Mountain. They're sacred grounds to the nations. But the government stepped in and made it into a resort. They made a snow resort there, ski resort. It's called Snowbowl, and they've been fighting over it for decades now. And what they were doing was they were artificially manufacturing snow, and what they took what you call reclaimed water. You know what that is, right? They get
Um, go on.
it's untreated water that it's basically almost not raw sewage, but the Indians still hold rights to the water and the mountain, like for religious rights. So they've been fighting this company called Peabody Water Company. They own the water company that supplies the mountain and everything. They're giving these guys the recycling water to make snow with and put it on the holy mountain. So the tribes and the tribe chiefs are always in there protesting, getting involved in politics. But when once you get into that, you'll find out they're in on it too. They're making money off of it, and they're making money off the idea that They, I can't. You shouldn't make dirty water, snow, da 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 da. But they're pocketing money from the whole deal themselves because they sold the rights and they get paid so they can do it. But they make a stink at a public appearance and stand up in the city hall and say this is wrong, this is against my tribe, but they're still pocketing the money from the white man who's actually putting the snow on the mountain. It's kind of a double standard, dude. And they make money off the poor people that live up there who just have to slop their kids through school, make ends meet, work jobs like Walmart and work for the city, doing trash work and all the rest of the stuff. So kind of like they're pissing down your back, telling you it's snowing. You get what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
why I named the stream Hugs and Pisses.
I forgot to ask actually. Yeah. um,
uh,
there's a thing about the want to control everything and stuff. I remember like watching like RT News years ago and stuff, and there were all this stuff about like the water companies in India were like drilling like holes to like way deeper than like the town's wells. So then they were forced to buy their water or drink from the wells, which were full of bacteria and parasites and all these kind of things and stuff, like because it was too shallow. You know what I mean? So they couldn't get fresh water anymore. So the company had caused a problem, and they had to suffer the consequences basically.
I got you. That happens a
Yeah,
lot, dude. I don't know why they let them get away with it, man. Because a lot of people don't know about it or even hear about it. It kind of gets shoved under the rug, you know.
yeah.
And
I think it was Nestle. So
oh,
I
I know you're
didn't
talking about.
really mean an Indian company, but a water
Yeah.
company.
Well, they're Swiss company, right? I think they
That's
make
what
Swiss chocolate. That's where they got started.
right.
But all these people, like companies like that, they have stake in like holidays, resorts, worldwide interest. They'll do anything to save a buck. It seems like, dude, and it doesn't it boggles my mind sometimes. I don't get it, man.
Um,
It's like either serve
another thing.
God or Mammon kind of thing. They definitely serve Mammon. I'm not preaching her
Uh,
on a bandwagon necessarily, but man, support your families. You don't have to be a greedy person to do that. I raise my kids. They work. They had a choice whether to go through school or not, and neither one of them went through school. One of them went to the army, went to ROTC, went through the reserves, went to Germany, did 2 years there with her husband, came back here, had two grandkids. I'm not greedy, man. I I did have a friend who actually kind of he used to get involved in these conversations like flat earth stuff, but he kind of laid off of it. He worked really hard, made it. He put his kid through Harvard, got him well educated. So kudos for him. But the idea that he's going to make a lot of money going to study law and go to Harvard, you know, I didn't have that luxury for my kids or myself for that matter. So some people do sell out. There's a lot of people that do, and they don't tell you they do. They kind of like throw everything in the back burner and don't tell you. I'm happy that they do make good in life, but the thing is, I don't think going to Harvard studying law is actually beneficiary for the rest of humanity. I think that's kind of convoluted.
I'm not into
You,
law as
you,
such.
yeah, did you actually? Yeah, did you actually do that yourself? No, you would be here
No.
talking to me about this stuff. If you were a Harvard lawyer, you'd be representing some corporation somewheres uh, as they rip somebody off as some local folks that have been working hard all their lives in their community.
Yeah, I chose a. I did a well. I was an artist, but I chose graphic design because I kind of thought it'd be more appropriate for the day and age that we lived in and stuff like that kind of thing. Like if I became an artist, it would be like a freelance artist, and I just didn't see a profit in the sense of like I kind of thought I'd be really struggling for all my life and all these kind of things and stuff. So I chose graphics, and it were awful.
Nice. Ooh.
It's so mechanical in a sense, you know what I mean? And it's kind of the opposite of what art expression is and all these kind of things and stuff like. I mean, there were some leads of inspiration and stuff like that. I wanted to be a writer and comic book artist and all these kind of things, but I wanted to write my own stories and make them as far out as possible and stuff like that. Because of my spiritual
Yeah.
experiences, like when I was a teenager, as I've mentioned them before and stuff like that kind of thing. Like, so like you know, to like one side of it for myself to like conceptualize me experiences. You know what I mean? And as an outlet, because like in a lot of senses, you couldn't talk to people about your spiritual experiences like back in the 90s and stuff like that. You know what I mean? As a teenager. I mean, yeah, it could a lot of weird friends and stuff like that kind of thing, but a lot of open-minded people in that kind of way. But at the same time, you couldn't push it too far. You know what I mean? In a sense, if you start talking
Yeah,
about
you can
machine
do.
beings, all these kind of things, you sound like a nutcase. So, you know what I mean?
Oh,
But I mean, you know,
dude.
astral projection, you could talk about that and all that kind of stuff and see where people are on the spiritual level and all these kind of things.
I remember watching
Uh,
Ancient Aliens that on the History Channel, and they were going back through uh, some of the old temples way down in South America, and they were finding like these robot looking heads and stuff that actually had mechanical features where they actually worked and crap. Like they were trying to make artificial life, and they were all speculating like, ooh, they actually had created a cyborg or a robot back in the early 1600 uh, or
it,
BC, you know,
did it
between
look
there.
good or did
And
it
it
look
was like crap.
sci-fi?
Well,
It
well no,
crowd like crap.
but well, the thing is, they said it was so old, it deteriorated to the fact where you couldn't make it work anymore. But there was a mechanical head. But they also had a lot of other weird gods down there too. Besides that, mostly serpents and underworld folks down in the Mayan and Aztec world, where they live in the water underneath us. That's where their spiritual realm is. There's like huge caverns down in a lot of cities where there's all the water. The table is huge lagoons and water caves, and there's like a maze of these things underneath these temples. So they called that the underworld. So it was. I remember watching that on the Nat Geo when I was a kid. Like, that's cool. You know, I fell in love with the Mayan culture almost. Not necessarily the Aztecs, because the Aztecs were really bloody. The Mayans weren't exactly the same way. But I guess they were savage folk living in remote parts of the earth here and there that have different ways, and it probably scared the hell out of people that weren't like that. And it seems like civilization actually kind of caused the human spirit, makes it different. Like Western culture is a lot different than Far Eastern cultures and stuff. And the culture shock is what people can't get over. So they demonize it for the most part. Well, that's evil. You know, whatever they just now. If you were like doing what the Aztecs supposedly did, they used to play soccer, and the winning team captain would get his head cut off, and they'd use it for the last gold. You know, like, all right.
Is it? Is there any authenticity to that story? Like
I
the
don't know.
football head thing?
I've seen lithographs of it, like people, the old lithographs, like the 1800, 1700 lithographs that they used to draw out of like a village, cities, or a group of people. They would do these, and they just take solid lines and shade it in until they get the picture. It's kind of like taking a photograph before they had a camera, you know.
It could have been. It could have been a criminal, and that's why they did it to that person.
Well, what I've heard in the tradition is that the winning captain was so proud of his team that he would give his head for the team. It's kind of weird. Like, all right, I wouldn't want to be captain of.
So it don't make sense, does it? Though.
No, it doesn't. So they make these outrageous things that probably never happened and make them into lore. You know, so that's where I think flat Earth falls in that category. A lot of people think it like that, but nobody actually really gets deep enough into it. They got a lot of points. Like there's just a lot of physical things that are mentioned in a lot of the ancient religious texts, even that much, and in sciences that back us up. But the fact is, they got to make it taboo. So I'll stay away from that. Stick with us over here. And I'm just asking myself, what do you have over here? You know, I haven't found anything over there at all. I found a whole bunch of dirty politics and people suffering a lot because of that global control. And you've heard it. They want to take over the world. you know, I think they do. That's global control. It's been mentioned my whole life. System of the Down has a song. What's the name of it? It's about drugs, basically. The drug lords control this world from around the globe. And that's actually the way they put it.
I heard first album when I was a teenager. I've not heard the newer albums ever since and stuff. Anything like.
I've heard all their albums, dude. They actually sing about two sons in I think the fourth album. They got a song called "Stealing Society." In "Stealing Society," they literally sing. You think when you hear it the first time, you think they're talking about two sons, two sons of like children. But when you pick the lyrics up, you read it, it's SUN. So it's kind of strange. So I think they came across the theory of two sons along their journey. Like there's two sons in the world, not just one.
Yeah, there were some NASA videos saying there were like two sons. There were like a guy that kind of like set it off at cuff and mentioned that, like, most people don't know and NASA don't mention it because it just caused more conspiracy talk and all these kind of things and stuff like so. But you're like pointing out that you could actually see it in this video.
I saw a couple of
I think we were talking about like the transit of Venus, and it just happened to have the other sun in the picture or whatever and stuff like that.
Well, when I was a kid, the first time I ever saw the Antarctic sun, I always thought it was really small and yellow, like real. And it didn't seem like it went like the other sun went to start with. That was just my first impression. Hey, PJ, I gotta say hi to everybody. I've been ignoring everybody too long. Let's see, we got Jeff Gasshead, Joyce B. I just said hi, everybody, and then there's more people coming in, and of course Luke. Let's see. I got Levin here, I think, somewhere. Where is he at?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
and don't forget the anus, Mr. Jim. He was the first man in the boat, dude. He jumps right in all the time. And I started off with a great song. It's called "Anchors Away" by Bouncing Souls. They're a Jersey band. I'll play out with them too. I love those things. They're cryptic. They do mention like certain things about what we think about the earth in their songs, dude. It's like you'll find these things throughout songs, throughout rock, throughout country. You can find any of the genres. But when you find it in the pop music, it's usually making fun of it. Like, who was it? Smash Mouth. They did a song called "Flat Earth Girl." And the whole time through the whole song, they wrote the whole song thinking this girl is really stupid and she thinks backwards. That's basically how the song goes. And I'm like, why? Well, if you just listen to the girl, you might actually think, hey, she might be making sense. But they literally wrote a song razzing this girl because she's a flat earther. It's really weird. I'm not going to play it.
A genius sounds insane to somebody who's not at that level.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So in a sense, it's got some logic because she's the genius. So everybody else is insane because they don't get it in that kind of sense.
Well, I'm finding there's a lot more people that think like I promise. You find them too, don't you? They're all over.
Yeah.
but it's not consensus, so you're not going to get a Nobel Peace Prize for your work. You're not going to get awarded a scientific endowment to go out and do what you need to do to prove your points in your thesis. You're not going to get that, no, because you're a crazy flat earther. So what we got to do is fend for ourselves, and that's why it seems so ignorant to like us. I went to university. I studied physics, and I took a course in chemistry, and now I work for Dow Chemical, and I'm designing new thermoses for everybody. But or I work for what was it? I can pronounce the word. There's a company here. It's called Maxar. They design aerospace parts. They're actually a subsidiary from Ball, and half of their staff are screenwriters that reside in Hollywood. And I'm like, what are these people? Or they retired from Hollywood. How do they get a cushy job here at Maxar after they went to Hollywood and wrote screenplays or sitcoms, or now they have a cush job here or a number one of their installations as an engineer, but they've never really done any space flight or testing or anything. But they wrote screens scenes for Hollywood. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. And when I found that out, you can look it up. Go look up Maxar and go through their geospace engineer section, and they'll have a bio section, and they'll tell you their careers previous before they got there. There's like I think 8 out of like 10 on the first list were automatically writers or screenwriters. I'm like, what are they doing here? And I took that list over and I dropped it off at Ben from Taboo Conspiracy's doorstep. Like, look at all these people over here. They're all screenwriters, dude. He's like, that's cool. Thanks. And I gave it to Eddie Banjo too. I felt like, dude. So that's that kind of uphill battle I started doing when I started looking at in the people and careers and what they really do. It's really kind of weird. You like the psychedelic background, huh? I don't know. I just picked that. It stuck out at me, and it's perfect for left. The black and white is a contrast.
For me, did you say?
Oh yeah, I didn't know you were coming, dude. No, I knew you were coming.
Yeah, besides this,
The last show I did before that, I was going to finish up my idea behind how they make artificial, like a South Pole at the other end of the world. When our pole was in the center, so that it's all part of like the illusion, I think. Like, and nobody's the wiser, They're not going to like dig into it too deep, brush past it. Then now you're a conspiratard. I want to play one of Jim's videos right quick. And it's called Moon. I think it's his newest one. Let's check it out. Let me go back. He said he had a new Moon video. Let's make sure this is the one. Videos. I got one P900 from a month ago. That's not the newest one. Go to the videos. Okay. New Moon. This looks good. I'll play it right quick. You ever watch any of his Moon work? You said he's Jim Anus. He's got
Jim.
He's got a P900. He goes out and he takes his shots just because. And he also keeps birds, I understand, like pigeons. He's got pigeon porn too. The first person ever.
Subscribe.
Yeah. You like his pigeon porn? I think it's pretty awesome. Right, I'm going to play it. It just cut off. Oh,
I don't
I
know.
know. I didn't do anything. I didn't touch it. Like, click. Here, I'll fix it. It's fixable. Hit the play button. It's doing it again. What the heck?
I know.
It's telling me there's an error that occurred. Please try again later. Damn it, Jim. It's not his fault. It's YouTube. It's still up there, but we watched most of it. That's pretty cool. What do you think of it? Not bad. It was really
Yeah, it's good.
a blue moon, you might say. There's an actual old song about blue moons. Everybody wishes on them. You ever wish on a moon? There's an old God, I can't remember what they call those things. It's not it's an old myth, I guess you call it. Where if you wish on a blue
Yeah.
moon, you'll actually get a prosperous life. So I think it's a Gaelic tradition or something. So every time you see a blue moon, you wish for a wife. Hey, Discord, how you doing? You're backstage. I didn't hear you come. That's what was messing us up. It was Discord.
How
Hey,
dare he? How dare he say that?
I
Yeah, I
did,
come with
dude.
positive energy and the great vibrations, and I can't be doing that.
Yeah, you could
Hey
never
guys.
mess anything
Hey,
up, dude. Ever.
No, not
We were
Discord.
talking. We were talking about you, and you remember you had that guy in what was it, YouTube or was it? And he would go in and he would scare the hell out of people with like videos, and he'd try to spook them, and like he'd have two of him in a video at once, and like they freak out, or and he'd try to he'd pretend like there's some kind of crisis, and put the onus on the people that were watching, like they had to do something, and they panic and freak out. What was that guy's name?
I wonder which one. Now I'm getting confused because I watched one
He,
guy. I watch Hyphonics, the bald guy with the mustache.
that's what I'm talking about right there. That guy, him.
Okay.
Yeah, you took me
He's-
back through his videos one night on my channel when I first got started. Like it freaked me out. Like if I saw a guy that was kidnapping a girl, put her in a trailer, and you think it's real, I mean, some people might panic enough to like actually go after him. Like he did actually did it.
I like that kind of content.
Yeah,
It's
you're kind
fun.
of.
Oh, I got dark humor. I like I, I
Uh,
like I like the deep and the crazy shit. I just have to know it's not real. I don't want it to be real.
yeah, but one of these times you're going to walk into a situation that it is going to be real, and Buffalo Bob's going to be trying to give you a hose and lotion, dude. You know what I'm talking about, right?
No, I heard the
You ever
name
see?
before.
You ever seen Silence of the Lambs?
The movie Silence of the Lambs, or what did you say?
Yeah, that's it.
I have, but I can't remember the movie now. I know the name. It's long ago.
But Jodie Foster plays this investigator, uh, and there's a lead investigator. This FBI investigators. They're after a serial killer by the name of Buffalo Bob. He skins his victims alive, but he likes to fatten them up first. So he put them in a pit, and he would torture them slowly over years, feeding them and making them grow big enough so he could actually use their hide. So he would drop a basket down with lotion in it because he wants the skin to be smooth. He'd say things like, "If it doesn't put the lotion on, it gets the hose." That,
Yeah, I remember. That stuff I do remember.
yeah, they talk about twisted humor. So, but I guess it was based on somewhat of a true story. That's what I've heard, but I never read any news articles about it at all. But they kill people that do stuff like that, dude. So, how's your day been so far, just Lord? Enough vape gate to kill you?
Once, what was that? What's that again?
Vape gate? Or what's the other gate? There's all kinds of gates now. There's like
Vape
30,
gate?
40 different vape gate.
I don't know. I don't really. The only times I watch the whole flat Earth thing and the Antarctica.
You're
I just,
robot, this Lord. Is that a good vibration you got?
to be
He's
honest
turning into
about that
a
whole thing,
yeah. What's your
didn't
opinion
begin.
on it?
Yeah.
I heard like brr, 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 nothing. We hear a word
Oh,
of it.
Like the whole just the beginning bit about like
I know.
you mentioned Antarctica.
Yeah, and then off to the robot
There's
land
not
you
much
went.
of it.
Like, doo-doo. Are you there? I can hear you. I can't hear you. I don't hear you. This
Discord?
Lord. I think he's trying to fix that. Hey, a drop in and drop back out.
yeah, I'm still lagging. Gosh, this is insane. Be right back.
Okay. I guess I'll be right back.
My mum's cousin lived in Tempe.
Oh, Tempe. Oh, yeah. I live right next to
My mum's cousin.
ASU. You know where that is?
Yeah.
ASU's Arizona State University is right downtown Tempe there.
Yeah. I've been there. Yeah. Well, like a bar next to it or whatever and stuff like.
Name the bar, dude. I've been to it.
Yeah, I've been to Flagstaff as well.
Ooh, pretty town, ain't it?
Maybe Tucson as well. I'm not sure. Went to Sedona.
My mother-in-law
What's it called?
lives
Grand Canyon.
Yeah, Grand Canyon's up north, but he's back. Good God, people knocking at my door. They keep on ringing my bell.
Petrified Forest as well.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, I'm in. All right, I'll stop knocking.
You've heard that song, right, by the Wings? Somebody's knocking at my door. Somebody's ringing my bell. Oh, do me a favor, open the door and let them in. Paul McCartney. You know that guy.
It gave me creepy vibes. The text.
Did it?
Yeah. And
You
let him in. Let who
You know what? Yeah, well, it's Sister Susan, Brother John.
I don't know the song.
Well, the Beatles are a creepy thing to start with. That you dig into like Abbey Road or the White Album, and you're like, okay, different. But Eleanor Rigby or All the Lonely People, as you would call it, I think is the name of it. That was my favorite song as a young kid. I don't know why I was attracted to it. I have no idea. But then again, have you ever heard it?
I don't think I don't know if I have.
Mm-hmm. Where do they all come from? And then he names off a list. There's a priest, an old spinstress named Eleanor Rigby. She keeps her face in a jar by the door, and yeah, it's a dark song, and they made a really dark video with it. Yeah,
I know it. All the Lonely People.
Yep. Great song. But one of my favorite Beatles songs were Yesterday, and my second one was Blackbird. Blackbird's wonderful. You ever heard Blackbird, this word?
No, I don't know because I have never really personally wanted to listen to any of those bands. They're too old. They always were too old for me. So the songs I heard through radio, TV shows, or movies, or my granddad, but I didn't want to listen, so I don't remember. The Beatles was boring to a young guy. I was young when my granddad tried to push it on me.
My granddad didn't try to push it on me because my granddad didn't listen to the Beatles. My granddad was, I don't know what kind of music he really listened to. He never really opened up because he was an old war vet.
He was Bee Gees. He was a Bee Gees fans. He wasn't even a Beatles fan. I don't know if it was Beatles fans too, but it was Bee Gees he was pushing on us. Yeah.
You don't like the Bee Gees, man? Come on.
I don't even remember them at all either. You know, I know the names. That's all. It's not my kind of music. Main music. I guess I would like it, but I wouldn't listen to it myself. You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
bad, but I don't need it in my music, in my own little studio. You know.
So what do you have? I see what you've had in your studio, but I mean, what did you grow up listening to? Because that's
Mm,
where you're most influenced in your life. I think when you're young, impressionable.
yeah. I don't think I can remember half of the bands, because it's old bands, and it was my dad playing a lot of music on his stereo. He was like a freelance DJ and yeah. So he made mixtapes and all kinds of stuff, and had the special discs, with the special hits, the golden, I don't know what they're called, special discs with the special numbers on it. You know what I mean, with the big LPs. And the small ones, you had the special versions that only DJs got and stuff.
I got you. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I just heard all the music he played at home. And I grew up listening to his music in the car. Like the newer stuff I can remember, it's like Coldplay, Radiohead, Enigma. That's the
Dude,
ones I remember.
you're young, dude.
Yeah, is that a surprise? I'm as young as old as I was last time I told you.
You're as young as my brother, probably. I'm thinking my
Yeah,
brother is God. If I'm almost 54, he's 51 now. So
you're younger
and
than
he
my dad, but older than me. Yeah,
that does happen in the world, believe it or
it
not.
does, and it's not that rare. But I'm 36, so
No,
yeah.
you're younger than my brother, actually. My sister's
Mm.
older than you. I'm the oldest out
Mhm.
of three.
I just,
See, I'm
I've just been
Yakko.
older. Mentally, I've
You
been
are.
older than everybody else since I was very young. So I don't feel young. I don't feel young at all. I feel old, and I hate feeling old because I always felt older than everybody. It's never been easy, you know. Been the outcast because your friends didn't understand the way you were thinking. Like I was too mature. Girls told me, "Yeah, you sound like a grown up," and then they didn't want to talk to me anymore. I was always judged for sounding old or
Yeah.
sounding older, and that's the weirdest thing when you are a child being told that, "Oh, you sound too old," and then they just don't want to talk to you. And I
Yeah.
wasn't. I was a child. Yeah, it's just
You
weird stuff like that.
get treated old. Like yeah, I used to get. By the time I was 14, they said I was too old for my britches. You know,
For
and
what?
too big
Your
for my
bridge?
britches. Yeah,
It's
britches.
an expression.
Yeah.
Okay.
You never heard of britches before? I'm
I
wearing a
know what
pair
a
right
bridge
now.
is, but
No,
huh?
britches. You know, you're too big for your britches. You never heard that before.
I heard it before, but I don't know what it's supposed to mean.
It's not.
It's another word for trousers.
Yeah, there you go. Your the good British
See,
thing.
that
That's
one I know, but
yeah.
I never heard anyone say it with that word you did. For or I did, but I didn't catch it. I guess the other thing makes sense. Yeah,
You're too big for your britches, boy.
Britches.
Yeah, britches, not
but what
bridges.
what is that word? That's a weird
Look it
word.
up.
Just don't use it. Let's just let that word die out. I mean, come on.
Go over to like Kentucky, Tennessee, North Carolina. You will be hearing that word a lot.
And you
Dude.
know what? If I go there someday, I'm gonna be like, what are you all talking about? Is everybody a fan of Bridget Jones around here? What are you saying? And then I'll leave
No.
again.
Good God.
I don't watch
No.
Bridget Jones. Good to see ya.
They're britches, not bridges.
I know, but it sounds.
oh,
No one knows what you're saying if they don't know the word. So what I just said made just enough sense for people anyway.
I'll give you a rundown of my family history a little bit. My grandmother was a seamstress, so
Yeah.
basically, she did sewing. She sewed for everybody. She did like uniforms. Uh, let's see, uniforms for like any event, even everything from clog dancing, soccer, basketball, and then she would next week she would do like a whole wedding ensemble for the
Oh,
from making the dress to the groom's tux, everything, and they would be themed work. So she would make good money doing it. She grew up in the mills, the yarn mills in the hills. So she made a living doing that when she was young. She started working in the mill when she was like 8 or 9 years old. And yeah, the hard times, dude. That's the way it works.
yeah.
But she made a living out of it, and then she made a company out of it later on, and she made a good living and put money away for the kids, grandkids, and everybody else. And she took care of her two young orphaned uh, sisters, not sisters, but nieces. Their parents committed suicide, and they ended up being pretty much destitute after the fact. They had a life insurance policy that their dad left them, but one of my uncles decided to become or was appointed. What do you call it when you're a head of a state? They got a word for it. But he was given all the rights to it, and he embezzled more than 2/3 of the money they had for life insurance before they even were of age, and ran off with it. So they were left pretty much down and out by the time they were teenagers, and they had to live. My grandmother helped raise them because their parents were dead. So my grandmother saved up money for them too, and got them on their feet and started in life. So, and they just passed away about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's part of mountain life out there. Some things. I'll give you the story. I got two great uncles. I think they're great uncles. One's name's Jimmy, and one's named, I think, Joe, and they're Mitchums. They're two Irish moonshiners that lived up in the hills, and they raised a family, and they've been doing it for a long time. But during Prohibition, the Fed came in and busted their still, and they were going to lock them both up, and there was pretty much a life sentence to go with it. My uncle, I think Jimmy, went to the still. He destroyed it. But what he did was he took dynamite with him and he locked himself in the still. He didn't realize it was locked and he couldn't get out in time. He blew the still up, but it killed him in the process. His brother hung himself because he didn't want to go to the Fed for the rest of his life and miss out on everything. And they were going to leave their life insurance policies to the grandkids and the kids. So that's basically my two cousins, Linda and Brenda. Their story is that their daddy died in with moonshining back in the old Prohibition days. So my grandmother took her under their wing and raised them, and pretty much made a life for them that they would have had with the life insurance from their dad's death. But I got a shady cousin, third cousin. His name is Wade. He's a Mitchum too, and he's the one that embezzled their life insurance policy funds over a period of like a decade or two. So before they even got old enough to get out in the world, kind of strange, but that's the true story. You like that one?
Yeah, that's something. That's
Yeah.
that's not something you hear every day.
No. I'm sure I got a ton more. You want to hear a couple? You got a little couple. Come on down, and I'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, most of them aren't that bad though. Not everything's heartache in the world, dude.
Yeah, but
When I was growing up as a younger child, used to go to my grandparents' house, and they'd watch us during summertime because parents were working, both of them, because they couldn't afford to, keep food on the table, as you'd say. So grandparents were our babysitters. But once a month, my grandmother would take us up into the hills. There's a river up in the Appalachians called the French Broad River, and she'd take me up to this house. And there's one of her friends are there. She used to work with in the mills. She's a painter, and she was a really cool old fragile little woman. Kept a French poodle, and her name is Pat Bridges. I'm like, who the hell is Pat Bridges? and I looked into it later on, and I'm like, she's got to be related. I compared her to a young actor back then by the name of Lloyd Bridges. You ever heard of him?
No.
You never
Well,
heard of Lloyd
I'm not
Bridges?
sure. I'm not sure. Some names sound familiar, but
Uh,
I have
uh,
no idea.
I'll give you a place you've seen him. You ever seen Airplane the movie?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Okay, the
you've seen it, haven't you?
I'll look it up.
he's got yeah he's the gray haired salt and pepper guy who actually makes uh, the segue jokes in between scenes. He'll like come in and there's something bad happened at the airport. He's like got a tube of super glue. He's sniffing like, I picked a bad day to quit sniffing super glue.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
see.
quips like that, yeah. But they're related. So I was raised with the Bridges family, and I didn't even know it as a child. It's kind of strange.
I know
Like
Jeff
they're
Bridges. Yeah, I know Jeff Bridges. I know
yeah.
Jeff Bridges.
Well,
Yeah,
Jeff Bridges is Bo Bridges' son.
and I know the name Bo Bridges too, but I don't
Yeah,
remember the face.
and Jeff, both. They're both his sons.
Ah, yeah, this movie
So
is old.
their aunt, I grew up at her house on Sundays in the summertime, growing up, and I didn't know it. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty old. 1980s. It came out
Oh
in
my
yeah,
God!
1980. I mean, you have to be a granddad these days to to not think that's long ago.
The '80s is so ancient, dude. It was like 600 BC.
Oh yeah, something like
We're
that. Almost.
hanging out, hanging out in Luxor in the desert.
I'm
Fanning
from
the
the 80s
queen.
myself, but not that early in the 80s.
I see. They don't. The real people don't tell you that they're like super famous or whatnot, or if they're related or not. But there's a lot of people that are related. You probably have some famous people related to you. You just don't know about
Oh,
it.
I know.
Dig.
I know I come from a family that was very rich and powerful at some point in Denmark. You know, we were, and the last part of that family was actors and I don't know the other thing, but actors and stunt people. That was when it started to go bad. You know, my granddad's dad. He was the last powerful rich guy in the family, but he drunk it all up and fucked it all up and lost it all. So there's nothing left.
Yeah, on that side of the family I was talking about earlier, the Mitchums. One of the patriarchs of the family, he did the same thing. He drank away the whole plantation and everything, and
It's
lost the
kind
whole
of
family
sounding like
fortune.
times like now. It sounds like the story goes that all of a sudden he just couldn't afford paying for anything, and he had to start selling everything he had, and started drinking, and it just went worse and worse.
Yeah.
Had to sell everything, yeah, to live.
Who do you blame for that crap, dude?
I don't know. I wonder if it was hard times or he lost someone. I don't even know his story. But
maybe
it sucks.
maybe he did some stupid shit, dude. Just like
That
and then
too.
regretted it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Alcohol is a terrible thing, dude. It can be.
Yeah, I don't understand why you go to alcohol when you're depressed. It just fucks you up even more. It doesn't help at all. It helps for a week or something to make you not think too negatively, but it fucks you up even more. When you stop drinking, when you get the hangover, you feel worse.
I don't know.
Way
I
worse.
don't get hangovers every time I hit the bottle, but I've had some of the best times of my life just spontaneously doing something like that, and then all of a sudden something awesome happens, and
Sure, sure, sure.
you're so numb, but you're still enjoying it.
Yeah, I mean, when you're already depressed, it's a bad idea to hit the bottle. You
Oh
know,
yeah, I'm
if you're
not talking about
already
depression.
highly,
Even if you're in a bad mood,
huh?
if you're in a bad mood and you have a drink, that's doomed to failure. Is that it's going to go bad, and you know
Yeah,
what I mean.
Hmm.
But otherwise, if you're in a good mood, I agree. You can have an awesome
Yeah,
time.
yeah, 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 for sure.
I,
It's just that if you'd let it take over you, you know what I mean. If you become like a complete like I used to drink like on the weekends and all that kind of
yeah.
stuff, and
Hmm.
and I found out although It's because we're in a party house as well, so there were a lot of ever drinking. I used to pace myself to a certain degree and stuff like that kind of thing. Like I didn't used to get drunk as other people and all this kind of stuff. Like I'm quite a balanced drunk as well. You know what I mean, and stuff like I don't start acting stupid in that kind of sense and stuff like. I'm into the conversation, you know what I mean, rather than else, because it's like, you know, you're drunk and you're talkative and all these kind of things. So it's not, I'm not going to start dancing around and all these kind
Oh
of things
no,
and stuff
I'm
like
all
that.
about talking to
But,
people who seems nice.
You're all
but
about nice people.
back then,
Yeah, I'm
Seem
just
nice.
chasing nice people all night when I'm drunk. Yo, everybody's getting a hug if they look nice.
Sorry.
But I'm not
Didn't
that
mean to make-
drunk that I don't know I'm hugging people. And I'm like, I talk to them a little. And I like to share hugs. That's how I
Oh.
find out who's a good guy, who's a bad guy.
There's
People
some
who don't want to
you
get
can't
hugged,
hug, dude.
they're weird.
Oh man.
Unless they
Well,
got a
we
good reason for not wanting to get hugged, of course. People are gonna go, "How dare you? You don't know my childhood story." No, but then tell it instead of treating me like I'm a freak for hugging you.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, it's cool.
You sound like a friendly drunk. That's
Like you
what
say,
it
you
sounds
get
like.
to see.
What?
A friendly drunk. Like, hey, how you doing, man? Come on, bring it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not? I was just thinking some of the best. I was just reminiscing in my head when we were talking about it. Like, I used to go out to a little dive bar in Flagstaff called Monty V. You ever heard of it? No, I doubt you have.
Don't
It's
know.
the Monte Vista is what it's called. It's right. It has a hotel in it. It's called the name of it is Sangre, I think.
Yeah, I'm
And there's a
Danish. I probably don't know any of those places.
well, it's an alpine town. It's you know what I'm talking about. It's right on the mountain.
Mountain town.
Yeah. So it's a mountain bar. A lot of writers went up there. Like there's one name in particular. His name is Sangre, and they found him on the top floor in his room. He hung himself.
Mm.
But they make a tour out of it. So when you go into Zangray,
And this is where he hung himself. Actually, you're standing right under his dying body's position, so you can actually probably smell him from that position if you're lucky. There's a little ghostly thing going on here.
I
Yeah.
hate when people go in like that.
Yeah, that's at a bar called the Weatherford, or a hotel called Weatherford. It's down the road from Monty V. But I mean, I had a lot of good times in the Monty V bar. It's a basement bar there, and I mean, I had some strange stuff happen. Like I'll go out there, they get like the special drinks. They had like $2 for a IPA, and they had a local
Yeah.
IPA here. It was called Mercenary, and it's a 15.6 or 15.7% alcohol. That's a lot for a beer. So 4 or 5 beers at $2 a pop, you get drunk. Okay,
That's for sure.
and that's what I would do. And I was breaking up with my wife at the time, and so I'd go out and try to like mix and mingle and see if I can meet somebody. It's been about a year, and then really the weird thing is I ran into her in the bar. There were a couple of times when I ran into her in the bar, and then after a long night of drinking, it would end up in something else. And those are some of the best times I ever had drunk. You know what I'm saying? Anyways,
It sounds like a fun place to go drink, a mountain bar.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
imagining it right now. I probably imagine a way cooler place, but I am into that.
You probably are, yeah. But they would have shows there and stuff like on the weekends. Bands that I would know would play there, so I'd go in, watch them. But every once in a while, I'd get like they have like special drink specials, and I get an open drink. And I came back and I drank one after I left it. I left it on the table, and I'm like, it tasted weird, and I'm like, automatically the reflex kicks in. Like, did somebody spike my drink?
Oh yeah.
And I made it out to my truck before I passed out.
Shit.
I locked myself in the truck because if somebody's following me, it's like they ain't getting me,
Oh no.
And I woke up like 3 hours later with a nice headache, and it wasn't from the alcohol because I didn't drink that much because obviously something happened to my drink. I've had that happen to me like twice. So
Well, at least you didn't wake up around the corner with a condom in your ass, so that it all went well.
Yeah, that's a lovely detail to
That's
it right
like the
there.
worst thing ever.
Or I didn't wake up in the movie Hostel, like, oh, you didn't make it through the bar.
Oh no. IPA. I don't like those beers.
You
All
don't like that?
IPAs I've tried, no, they got this disgustingly weird aftertaste.
Okay, I'm
And
gonna
some of
explain to
them just
you.
has that taste full on, and I'm like, it's not beer to me.
Okay, I'll explain it to you. How an IPA is made. I have a friend in Flagstaff who actually has a brewery. He makes IPAs himself, and
Ah,
I know the process on how to do it. But with the IPA, originally they shipped beer through India,
Indian Pale
to,
Ale, yeah.
yeah, to get to the British troops, because most Indians don't really drink a lot of brew necessarily. So they shipped it on trains, and they didn't have refrigerated trains. So this train would travel across India through the desert to get to the troops, and it would spoil in the process. They didn't realize it at first, but they liked the taste. So you know what Indian Pale Ale is? It's spoiled beer, dude.
That
It's
makes sense to
beer
me.
gone bad twice. Yep, because
Yeah, that's
beer.
why it's so bad to me. It makes sense. It
Yeah,
tastes
weird.
tastes disgusting to me.
Yeah, I forgot a friend. He's got a brewery there in Flagstaff. It's right off of Main Street. It's called Wanderlust. They have he processes a different brew every week. He has a special. He has three major uh, different beers that he sells all the time, but he does like a special, two specials a week of different brews. And sometimes he makes some weird shit, dude. Like we told him, like, dude, don't make the lemon raspberry. It's nasty, but he'd do it. Yeah, stuff. People would give him like, but I think he's mellowed it out since then. He's not trying to be like an artist. And his wife is named Mrs. Beal, and she was the special ed teacher at Kinsey Elementary. Uh, Not Kinsey Elementary. The hell, there's another one there. But I used to work in the schools there. I was one of the maintenance men in the schools. I worked for a private company called Pinnacle Janitorial. We took over the contract for cleaning the schools, and we built a company like that. We did maintenance service and building services for the city hall, uh, the train station, all the visitor centers and stuff. We maintained all this stuff. We just went around selling our services to everybody. Each individual person we helped build the company up. It was like 4 or 5 of us that did it, and we made a nice strong company. And I was told when I left the perfect terms. If I ever need a career of any kind, if I'm ever down and out, I could always go back and work for them. So
Yeah,
that was after like 10 years of service. So
it's nice to have a backup plan like that.
well, it's not really. It's just like it's always there. If I'm
Oh, yeah,
out somewhere, yeah.
something to go back to.
I go. Well, I mean, Flagstaff is. I don't know. I haven't been there forever. It's been since I left there. I'd say 2000 and say 6. Yeah, last time I was up. But I lived there since like 99 when I got up there.
99.
And you don't get to see real Flagstaff if you ever go there. Like even when Level went there, you're going to the wrong place. There's how that when you go into a town, they always got this tourist stuff where they just direct you here, direct you. There's a whole other town that nobody sees. It's backwards from what you're.
My dad wants to go to Aldershot, so we went to Aldershot there.
I know it. Yeah.
We went to maybe some more car shops. He's into his Dodge Rams and all of these kind of things, like back then.
Yeah.
And alleys, like I said. But yeah, we didn't stay there that long. I think we stayed there for a couple of hours maybe, and then we went on further. Maybe at Four Corners or whichever direction we're up from there or something like that. Grand Canyon, etc. I'm not sure. I can't remember which way we went, but
there's a secret for the Grand Canyon. If you ever go up to Grand Canyon, remember this: buy everything before you go to Grand Canyon because they have the same stuff in the Grand Canyon stores. It's just double the price.
Of course, that's like going to any place where they got merchandise you can buy after, like.
Well, I'm just talking about everything. Like if you go to McDonald's in the Grand Canyon, or if you go to like a 7-Eleven.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's double, dude.
That's too
But
insane.
if you live there, they don't pay double. If the locals, I don't know how they do it, but
That's
they
like
get a
going to Thailand, you know.
Mhm.
Everything you buy when you go to Thailand and Phuket on a holiday, everything you pay 3 times too much for, but you don't know. You think it's cheap.
What's the word I'm looking for there? They're price gougers, dude.
They just screw you over because they know they can. That's how it is. Even when you go to the street food restaurants in Thailand, if you go to the ones too close to the foreigner place, you know, they will
Yeah,
also make the price more expensive because you don't know.
yeah. You don't know what the price really is.
No.
But my dad told me when he was in Vietnam, he watched villagers do this stuff, dude, because they'd economize the whole place. All the local people that were doing shops and stuff would take wheelbarrows of uh, I forgot the currency at the time, but they would take a wheelbarrow to buy like a week's supply of food and stuff. They weigh it out by the pound, like physical paper. They'd weigh it out. Like it's worthless. During war times, it is. They bleed the economy out during war times because they're trying to kill off the populace that are there. Obviously,
Yeah,
yeah,
they're ruining my
wars.
country. My rich country is being emptied out, you know, for that Ukraine bullshit. That has nothing to do with my country whatsoever, but we are one of the ones doing the most for Ukraine. And that's insanely ridiculous. You know? They're just
Well, I mean,
killing our country.
If you had a congressman, I'd tell you to write them. Tell them don't send
Forget it.
money to.
The ones we have is just as corrupt as anyone else. We are literally
Mhm.
just following America's bullshit because everybody looks up to being a part of the disgusting corrupt club, you know? So
What what do you got to gain from that? Though? Think about it.
yeah, just not dying. Just not dying. That's pretty much all they're worried about, I think. Just not dying and or being a nobody. I think they think being a nobody like us, like normal humans, they look at us as normal, as nobodies. I mean, you know, they just don't want to be a nobody. Being a nobody is probably worse than dying for those crazy people in politics and shit.
Yeah,
It's literally that's hell. Being a nobody, they rather die. That's
I
how
don't
I
get
think they
that, dude.
think.
It's
Hmm?
it's not really different though. You know, like in the terms of like their life, right? They've got people around them.
Yeah.
You know, so have we. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, it depends how they live in terms of like internally. Because if they're constantly fighting for that idea of
Hmm.
themselves, they're never going to be themselves. So, you know, on our side of things, we generally do get to be
Yeah.
ourselves,
We learn what it
which is
means to
living
be who
fear.
we
You know
are.
what I mean?
Well,
That's it. Yeah,
we're
yeah.
flies in the Vaseline.
It's hard to get out, but when we finally get out, we got that much stronger.
Yeah, I'm gonna play out with us. I'm gonna go ahead and close up, guys. I think I've covered enough for a lone man in here with two guests on my show. Yeah, I'm waiting for supposedly all the video footage. Even Witsit supposedly released a 360 camera with a 24-hour sun on his website. So I want to take a look at that. But I'm pretty sure he's not handing it out to everybody. Should go look. I'll look at it later. But there's still a lot of underhanded shit going on. If they were just going to go out and just straight up do it, like, da-da, here's the big reveal, after the fact, yeah, that's insane.
It was good what you said earlier about when you said that you saw that stream that was on banners. We were talking about the Taurus field and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff. Because there were like 500 people that saw that. You know what I mean? It was still there like for a few days after, so it didn't get destroyed straight away
good.
for whatever reason. You know what I mean? I'm quite suspicious of the reason. You know what I mean? Because like the rest of the streams that summer were taken down as well. You know what I mean? So anything that I did contribute over that period, you know what I mean? It's gonna
I've
like
had a few like that
it's gone missing in a
myself
sense.
too. Like the last one I did comparing the north to the south, like actual footage. It wasn't my footage. I just went and put it all together, and then come back the next day. It's gone. I actually still have it. I just can't. You can't watch it. You can. I could take you like Discord or something. We could play it. But I can't use it off YouTube. It's really weird. If I gave you the stream they took off me, it's just gone. I didn't know, watching comparing north to south would piss people off, but it did. It's really weird. So you still have that original video yourself, right? Even though it got pulled. Left?
No,
It's gone.
no, it's gone. Yeah, like I say, the entire summer of me going on banners, we were kind of like
Ooh.
all got maybe even longer than that. But what I do have is because there's people wanting my research in that kind of sense and stuff like that, like a bit of a grabbing claim aspect and things and stuff like between one other panel members. So I ended up producing it on mine, you know what I mean? So I kind of went solo for a while and stuff like that, to do that first series and stuff like. I was doing it every day, you know what I mean? I did an upload each day and stuff like that too. And then yeah, like I said, it's like quite a lot of maybe 13, 14 episodes to that series, and it's only one episode which I talk about Vitalis Field and Realm, and it's only for a short little bit in that episode as well. So it's like it's kind of like the rest of his episode is talking about the function of a chakra, you know what I mean? So that's what why it's a micro of a macro. So how the chakra works, we associate with a flower, and the chakra is a portal. So we see the flower as a portal. So that's how life comes about from the flowers.
So
But the flowers, because the forest is
I
sorry.
got a question. Why do the Buddhists lean toward the lotus so much when it comes to that narrative? The chakra, the lotus.
Apparently, it's in their history they've got like people which were apparently born of a lotus flower. Whereas I kind of think like it was all plants. So like if they've got history of it, it's like a freak occurrence because like in past, right? If when we had as giant trees, because that was the brain network, you know what I
I got
mean?
you.
That the giant forest and stuff, and that because the brain network is conscious, you know what I mean? So it knew its capabilities. So it knows what kind of fruits it can produce or whatever and stuff. If it knows it can produce a utopian state for life to be abound and stuff like that kind of thing, then it'll produce life.
But
You know what I mean? So it's the old forest works together. So you get like grass seeds, which could protect crickets, insects, etc. I mean, from whatever abundance of types of plants and stuff, which could produce all sorts of types of animals. You got seaweed, which can produce fish, etc. But then, that's what led me to the question, because it's like without the giant trees, you've got no continents. If you've got no continents, then you just got sunlight and water. So the big question was, what is water? You know what I mean? So then that was my next series. Discovering that the ocean is conscious and all these kind of things and stuff like, which quite a good series really when you go through it and stuff like the photographs inside of fish is awesome and stuff and everything like that. But yeah, but I'm going past my point. My point was that little tiny bit on that episode, because I didn't know they were going to steal it. You know what I mean? When I was on banners, I spent about half an hour hashing over. People were asking me questions. You know what I mean? It might have been 40 minutes or whatever and stuff like, going over the details of it and stuff like that. I remember talking about like the curvature of space. My dad had told me about a documentary years ago and stuff like, when I was quite young, before Flat Earth and all that kind of stuff like. But it described like this documentary saying that you can't make a straight line in space, right? Because space is curved because of like the distance of it and all these kind of things and stuff like. So you imagine like a Fibonacci spiral going through space in a way, and that's like the dimensions of it. You know what I mean? In a way, so
I got you.
you can't do a straight line. But when you compare that to like the torus field, if that's what space is, then that's why you can't make a straight line, because it's you're guided along the path of the torus field and the limitations of it. So you can't get past the torus field. That would be like going beyond the dome, for example, and stuff like. So like that narrative and stuff like that kind of thing. and also like the perspective of the sun. So like they've got like examples of like the flat Earth with like a dome over your position. So that's where you see the stars from and all these kind of things. So that's another aspect of what I said on banners, which I've not put on the channel.
Good.
But like I said, fortunately, before Globebuster did their presentation,
I was listening to Banner grill you in the process off and on. He'd ask you questions and you'd answer them. The ones that I did see.
What about that?
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna.
Yeah, unfortunately, you've seen it because like I said, we're 500 people. I just don't know, I know usual code and stuff like that, but I don't know the rest in that kind of sense. Like because like I don't know, it increases after a day, like the views or whatever and stuff like that.
All right. Well,
I don't know. I'm gonna check. It's only one that I check.
I'm gonna call it a night, guys. It's been an hour and a half. You guys good? That's beautiful talk, though. I like it.
I think she needs to keep that talk on for a good hour more.
I've been feeling under the weather since my grandson got sick, pretty much. So.
Oh, yeah.
And I work a job, and I've been keeping up with everybody's streams and stuff in the between times. So it's getting rough as it goes. But I'm not gonna pansy out on you. But I'm going to play out with a song. Stay here and listen to the song and tell me what you think of it when you're done. You might like it. It's you've never heard this song played by these people before. You ready?
Yep.
It's "Thought She'd Be Mine," and it's by a wonderful band by the name of the Stone Temple Pilots. You've ever heard of them?
Nope.
Okay. Of course you didn't. Just word, but Lev does. He's got a good taste in music. I'm just kidding.
I can't remember what they do, but I know I've heard them.
Yeah.
Like I said, at a party house, I had a lot of music going off.
Hey, when you're a teenager, all kinds of stuff goes off, dude. You know what I'm saying? All right, here we go.
I swim in oceans of blue sky, autumn hazy. They tell me it's only you, anticipating the one thing that could save me. But something's not right with the moon. Every time I get by, I get closer to thinking, and we don't need that again. I've been sinking in blue-eyed autumn, baby. Still thinking back to when I thought you'd be mine. Thought you'd be mine. I thought you'd be mine. Thought you'd be mine. I thought you'd be mine. Mine in the morning. I walk the streets out of town, so tired and lonely. Never to be the same. It could have been something beautiful if only I opened my eyes too late. Every time that I try, words get lost in the wind, and we don't need that again. I've been thinking of blue-eyed autumn, baby.
Well, what'd you think about that, guys? Honest opinion.
Oh, what? No, I'm joking. I like that one. I like that one.
You like this dystopian video they had with it, where you just put a quarter in
Actually,
and
I didn't
everything
watch
gets
it.
done?
I had
You
my,
didn't?
I had my back to the video the whole time. I just saw the last 10 seconds of it with those cartoon characters and dancing out in the kitchen or whatever.
I like that. It's kind of cool.
But
That's
it's
an old.
nice.
I think it's an old Fleischer Brothers cartoon. You know who Fleischer Brothers are, right?
No, but I know those kind of cartoons.
Like the late 50s, mid 40s, around that era. Fleischer Brothers put out a lot of famous cartoons. They were competing with Warner Brothers back in the day.
Yeah, my granddad knows it. That's all I can tell you.
My granddad knew about it, man.
Yeah, the 40s and stuff. I wasn't, my dad wasn't even thought of yet.
So you're really related to Rip Van Winkle, aren't you?
Huh?
You know who Rip Van Winkle is? Never heard of him?
Not sure. I don't really save names in my mind unless they have some meaning to me or I hear them way too much.
It's a book, dude. Read it.
I don't read.
Just stare at the TV all day, man. Don't read.
I only read on the screen, but I prefer, someone actually, doing a documentary or reading it up for me. I hate reading text. I fall asleep when I look at text for too long. I always did. It's the thing that happens.
When I was a young
I fell asleep
teenager,
on the books.
I would read chronicles and trilogies all the time. That's what I would do. I worked on a farm for about 4 or 5 years as a teenager, and there was no TV out there, barely radio stations. So I had a bookshelf, dude.
And then I would
whole
learn
bunch-
to read, and then I would have learned to read. And I can read, but then I would have liked it too. But I'm spoiled growing up with videotapes, movies already as a kid. Everything. So
Technology's ruined you, boy.
well, yeah, I guess that's what it does to us all.
Well, actually, it
depends.
can be helpful, dude. Really, it can. And then
Oh,
again, you want to say goodnight to
In
everybody?
one sense, like in Age of Deception, the movies that we have watched did help us to spot it out.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I mean,
I got you. That makes sense. Are you ready to say goodnight to everybody?
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, cool.
All right, good. Good night. I'm going to play you guys out with a classic. And
Oh, I thought you already played us out.
no,
Let's
no, I was
play
playing-
one more.
I was playing that for you, dude. And Lev, I'll see if you like that or not.
Ah,
Judge a man by his taste in music. No, I don't.
oh yeah.
Why would I do that to a person? I don't
know.
judge people.
I don't
A
know.
lot of people do, though. And I hope I didn't piss on 2 people tonight. Yeah, I gave a lot of hugs out more than pisses. All right.
Just don't grab too many asses.
Cool.
And if they do, they might grab back.
Well, in that case, it's another story.
Has this been going on? How long 'cause I